Welcome to the Organizing Garbage Podcast. I'm Ryan.
Nate.
What do we got for garbage to organize today?
Got a lot of it. But first, let me see if I can open this without it exploding.
Or are we going to do it? Oh, look at that. It's not frozen this time.
Sound of freedom.
Don't have a beer puking out the top of it this time. That's good.
Not this
That's
morning.
good. That's good.
If you want to drink all day, you got to start in the morning. Words of wisdom right there, fellas.
That's
and
right.
ladies.
We may as well just start it off with the whole USAID shit. I mean, that's...
Can we talk about my morning first real quick?
Yeah, sure. What you
And
got?
then we'll get into the USAID, and then we'll get into a little bit of story time after that.
Oh,
So
tell me about your morning.
this morning, I get up, and I'm a good boy. Go to the gym. 5 a.m. in there lifting with my girl, and things are going well. Get home, start the green machine up, the other F450, the green monster. I dropped my Princess truck off yesterday to get some work done to it.
Oh, getting that U-joint done?
Getting that U-joint done, getting some new brakes put on it because they're due, and I don't want to have to do it during our busy season, so might as well handle it now. Oil change, couple other things, seat control modules. So dropped the truck off at the mechanic last night. Come home and I got the old green machine, and I fire her up when I get home because it's all been sitting covered in ice and everything. Fire it up, go inside, and then I'm getting ready to come over here, and it's been running for like 2 hours. I go outside, the door's like, you know how it's got like 2 clicks to fully shut it?
Uh-huh.
It's on the first click, so I like half-ass shut it. The fucking doors are locked. Like, you're kidding me.
And you haven't got in and got door codes out of either of your trucks,
Nope,
have you?
I have not. And it's running. I'm like, okay, where's my breakout kit? Because I've got these little airbags you can stick in the doors and pump them up, and then I've got bars you can just slide in. I used to work for a cab company, so
Right.
learned a few tricks of the trade of breaking into vehicles.
Sure.
And all that stuff is in the Princess truck at the mechanics. So I'm like, son of a bitch. So I'm inside looking for anything to stick in there. Luckily, it was only on the first click, so I was able to put a pry bar in there and kind of pry, and then take a coat hanger and roll the window down. But yeah, that was my morning. I'm just like, you would. And it's freezing, and my pry bar's in the back of the truck, so it's frozen cold. My gloves are over here in the skid steer, so I'm out there freezing my friggin' nuts off.
Yeah, because, I mean, it got all the way up to 0 this morning.
Yeah, all the way up.
All the way up to 0.
So that's how my morning went.
Oh, well, good. So on the USAID stuff, I had to pull this clip because this really says it all. And fair warning, this is Pocahontas. And so I know that some of you actually go into potential seizures and all that when you hear her voice. But this, for those of you sensitive to that, plug your ears. But here you go.
Behind me, Elon Musk is seizing power from the American people.
Seizing power from the American people. So I'm going to go with the people in Congress that have been taking slush funds off USAID. They just consider themselves the American people because the only people he's seizing power from is all of you that are taking literal, like Nate just said, he's like, turns out we have something in common with a bunch of those Congress members. We both use my money to invest in the stock market.
Yeah.
This is, I mean, it's dizzying. I mean, it's exactly what we wanted to see happen with this administration. I mean, this is like the pipe dream. I would have been okay with like a little slower, like, oh, hey, we're doing some things and all. The information that's coming out right now is like, whoa, like it's tough to take it all in.
So Trump said while he was running, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do this, I'm going to stop that war in Ukraine, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, okay? His first 2 weeks, he's doing it, all of it. Everything he said he was going to do, okay? Mass deportation, securing the border, putting tariffs on other countries, no overtime, no taxes on overtime. We're going to form the Department of Government Efficiency. Elon Musk is going to be the head of that, and he's going to start looking into this stuff, and we're going to eliminate unnecessary spending. And he's doing all of it. He's keeping his word. And the left is freaking out about it.
They're going nuts because they don't think any spending is unnecessary or overspending.
I'll tell you what's unnecessary spending. My money that I get taxed on, the money I work for that I get taxed on, going into a politician's pocket, which then goes to Ukraine, goes to gender studies, goes to DEI, fucking brainwashing in Durkistan, wherever the fuck, right? And so that's unnecessary. Where should it be going? It should be going into our own country. It should be going into border security. It should be going into infrastructure, that sort of thing.
You can end it right there. Like, it should only go to our country,
right?
Unless we have, Matt Walsh explained this really good the other day. I was listening to him, and then on the end, he comes on and he's like, "Look, everybody's talking like I'm, oh well, I got to say this because Ben Shapiro runs all this," and he's like, "No, I don't think anyone, including Israel, including Ukraine, including Canada, nobody should be taking any of our money at all unless they are an ally and they're attacked and we go help them out. And they better be a really good ally if we're going to put our own people over there and our own money to go help them out." But just the perpetual, like, oh yeah, it's a new year, I guess you get a new $3 billion for whatever you want to use. Like, no, that should end. I mean, that should stop. And we talk about it all the time. The whole taxation is theft. Well, now we know that it is 100% theft. This is so much of this stuff that's coming out of this thing, and people are, there's people are like, well, it's only 1% or it's only 2% of our national spending. Well, I don't care. Like 1%, I don't care if it's $1. It does not need to go to other countries to do. You got a list there, I got a list here. Once you read off some of what has been discovered.
Into the USA, $2 million for Moroccan pottery classes in Morocco. $2 million promoting tourism to Lebanon. That's not USA. $20 million for a Sesame Street show in Iraq. That's not USA. Sending Ukrainians to Paris Fashion Week. That's not USA. $1.5 million for DEI in Serbia, which is not USA. $70,000 for DEI musical in Ireland. I'm sorry, they misspelled US. No, they didn't. That's not USA. $47,000 for transgender opera in Colombia. $32,000 for transgender comic book in Peru, which is not USA, by the way. $20 million for sex changes in Guatemala. Sorry, $2 million. $6 million on tourism in Egypt, not USA. $1 million to help disabled people in Tajikistan become climate leaders. What?
To become climate leaders?
I guess. And then $15 million to contraceptives and condoms in Taliban-controlled Afghanistan,
good.
Which is not USA. And
so,
where is there anything about helping homeless veterans, helping people that are homeless in general, helping the poor? It's all about chopping your dick off in other countries.
So to add to that, $11 million to tell Vietnam to stop burning trash, $27 million to give gift bags to illegals, $330 million to help Afghanis grow crops, $300 million on unused Afghani power plant, $200 million on an unused Afghani dam, $250 million on an unused Afghani road. Now, there's another part on this that I mean, this is all just numbers flying in real fast and everything. On that $330 million to help the Afghanis grow crops. So what they wanted them to do is learn how to grow corn instead of opium. So really what they did was opium, obviously, is going to be a little more of a cash crop there. So they just paid off the inspectors. And they're like, no, we're still going to grow opium, and you're going to tell the U.S. that we're growing corn. And they did. Mm-hmm. Like, when you look at your paycheck, if you're a W-2 employee, you look at your paycheck and you look at how much of that money is just federal tax every single time. we've just pretty much all of us that are alive have just grown accustomed to it. We've never known anything that doesn't have an income tax or whatever. The stuff that's coming out of this, and this is just the first one they scratched.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is just the surface, and there's the left especially, but Mitch McConnell's wrapped up in this. Liz Cheney, which I mean, they're basically the left anyway, and yeah, there's now a new push since all of her USAID stuff came out with the whole she's getting it, and it's going for she was this special delegate for Russia and Ukraine, and then now it's all kind of coming full circle. She's supposed to come speak up here at UAA, University of Alaska at Anchorage, and there's now a major push for a bunch of like-minded people like us to show up and have a chat. I'm not going to waste my $10 on a ticket, but she's already got enough of my tax money.
We should just bring a box of lettuce and tomatoes and just fucking
just pelt
just pelt the shit out of it. No, it's like I see this video this morning of this leftist, claiming, nobody voted for Elon and keep your money off our taxes, keep your money off, or keep your hands off our taxes, keep your hands off our data. And the whole point of DOGE is exactly that. Keep your money off our keep your hands off our taxes. The whole point is to go in, eliminate unnecessary spending, and keep it in our pockets, because when we have money, we spend it in our country.
Right.
This is what I was getting at last time about the tariffs. The tariffs is like, okay, so when you buy something, let's say we do 25% tariff on Canada, which they've paused right now because Canada is going to help with the border security. Same thing with Mexico. That's great. You're going to help us. We're going to help you. When this is done, we're going for tariffs.
Yeah.
That's what's going to happen. But 25%. Okay, what do we get from Canada? We get lumber. We don't need to. We have our own lumber here that we can cut down.
Oh, yeah.
Maple syrup and whiskey. Okay, I don't need maple syrup.
You can get that from Vermont too.
I can get that from Vermont. But if I want maple syrup from Canada, I got to pay an extra, whatever it is, the extra 25%. Okay, if I'm that big, but I don't need that. I'm okay with that. If I'm like, you know what, I'm really craving some maple syrup from Canada. It's going to cost me a little extra.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. I think I'm a little ADD, so I'm getting off track here. But the whole point is, Elon wasn't elected. Elon wasn't elected. He's in the Department of Treasury. Blah blah blah. Who in the Department of Treasury is elected? How many people work there? I don't know the number.
I don't know the number, but I know it's more than one, and
right.
I know that exactly 0 are elected.
Right. So you for your argument to be Elon's not elected, they're freaking the fuck out because they're being exposed.
Oh yeah.
Of all the money for this U.S. aid that's going overseas, and then how much of that gets kicked back to the politician that fucking approved it.
Oh, you can see those charts.
Yeah.
A good follow.
At 'em.
A good follow on X. What's his name? Digital Republican, small R. I've been watching a bunch of his charts. Evan told me about another one too. There's a bunch of people that are like compiling this info and making it so that, ding dongs like us can actually understand it. And there you can see the flow. $84 million to Chelsea Clinton.
Yeah,
you hear about that one?
I saw 92 to Biden kickbacks from Ukraine.
Yeah.
So we have power. We're going to make this decision to take taxpayers' money. We're going to send it over here. And because we send it over here, they're actually going to send some back in a different form into my pocket.
Mm-hmm.
And the left is freaking out, and they're getting pissed, and they're saying, keep your hands off our taxes. Their hands are on your taxes. They're putting it in their fucking pockets. And now Trump and Elon are doing something about it. You should not be upset by any means. You should be happy that somebody is doing something within the fucking, within Congress, within the fucking government to do something to keep your money in your pocket.
Yeah. If this election would have gone the other way, this would have existed in perpetuity. Just slush funds for him. And that's what it really is. It's just a big slush fund operations. Like, oh, well, we're gonna do these little appropriations in this bill, and we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that, and then I just need to make sure that my pet project gets some, because that's how I get. and I mean, there's memes out there everywhere, you know, $174,000 a year doctor, and he's got a little ski boat for his family. $174,000 a year senator, and it's a mansion and yachts and everything. Like it's no joke. I mean, you don't, without insider trading, without kickbacks, without all that, these people do not have a leg to stand on. Most of them are not that smart. I mean, look at Mazie Hirono from Hawaii. I swear the only reason that she ever gets elected and continues to get elected is because the people of Hawaii are smart enough to be like, get this broad off the island. Like, just send her over there. We don't even want her on the island anymore. Like, it's like Survivor. You've been voted off the island. It's like, no, we don't really want her to like represent us. It's just more of, you know, fun clips of, you know, laughing at her. But what an absolute just
well, and the gaslighting that comes from the left too, and they're like this is the whole thing I told you the other day about Kamala Harris. You know, it's like Kamala's got her hand in the cookie jar, right? And you walk in and you're like, hey, they're like a bunch of children. Yeah. Hey, don't touch the cookie. I didn't touch the cookie. And there's a cookie in her hand. Her hand's in the jar. Who took the cookie, Kamala? Trump did it. Kamala, your hand's on the cookie right now. Put the cookie down. I don't have the cookie. Trump has the cookie. Kamala, I can see your hand on the cookie. It's not me. Trump did it.
That's not my hand.
That's not my hand. That's Donald Trump's hand.
That's not my hand. That's not a cookie. Yeah. And that's where it's going. I mean, all these senators that showed up in front of the you said offices that are out there screaming, "We're gonna fight!" And then Chuck Schumer starts trying to start a chant, "We will win," and nobody's joining in. He says it about 6 times, and he's like, "We will not fail. We will not." And it was the every senator. It's just cringe, like
telling them to fight in the streets and all that stuff. Didn't you guys like try to publicly fucking hang Donald Trump for saying fight?
Well, I mean, Chuck Schumer did accuse Trump of inciting an erection. Did you hear that? The Freudian slip back in those years?
No, I didn't.
Donald Trump incited an erection. I mean, insurrection. It was great. Yeah, it's just what a cuck.
No, that's what happens when you grab her by the.
Yeah, that's right.
The kitty.
Yeah. What a the stuff just keeps rolling out, and it's crazy because I got up this morning. It's like, oh, there's more.
Yep.
Oh, there's more. Oh, here's this.
Dude, I just sit there and shake my head. I'm like, I can't believe it. And literally everything that they're claiming about Donald Trump is what they've been doing.
Oh yeah.
The
it's
whole
all
time.
projection.
It's a bunch of narcissists.
Yeah.
Just projecting exactly what they're doing, because if you point the finger over there, then you're not looking at me.
Well, I was talking to Buddy this morning. I said, you know, it's just like these, you know, for us sitting on the outside, you know, watching this veil pulled back now, and how much money they have taken over years and years and years. And I'm telling you, there's going to be Republicans and so-called conservatives that get wrapped up in this, because one of the biggest winners in Congress, what's his name, Dan Crenshaw out of Texas, and he ran as this conservative and immediately got sucked in by the swamp. And you watch, there's going to be, as much as he's made, it's not just in the stock market, guys.
Yeah.
But anyway, I was talking to him. It's like the thing is that these people, they never think they'll get caught. It's like Pablo Escobar. It's like all the guys, you know, the cartel leaders, all that. Like, man, he's got we're talking in the 80s. The dude's got $8 billion. Like, why don't you just like turn it over and what? They never think they'll get caught.
Yeah.
That's the thing. And so right now, they're like a bunch of snakes in a den, and somebody pulled the wool back on it, and all of a sudden they've been exposed to the light, and they are freaking out because they are the ones that control. They are the ones that distribute funds. I mean, why do you think that the Washington Redskins became the Washington Commanders? What a fitting name for Washington, D.C. Like, oh, we're just going to call our team the Commanders because, you know, we're command and control. Well, the thing is, they think that they're, and they have been. I mean, I can't say that they haven't. They've had all the control. They get to steer the narrative through USAID. They got to control the narrative. So they never looked bad. And then finally somebody came in and said, yeah, you know what? We're actually going to look into this box. And ooh, that box held a lot of stuff.
Uh-huh.
So you want to have a quick little work down of what I saw for USAID?
Yeah.
Okay. So USAID up here. Okay. USAID funded Fauci and Wuhan.
Mhm.
Okay. They are the ones that those funds were directed through.
Okay.
For the coronavirus research.
Yep.
They also just funded this bird flu that's here, being able to jump to mammals. So that's all funded there, right? So the one they got was the COVID. Okay. Well, now when that hit, not only did they push the narrative, like basically paying Politico, ABC, NBC, all these news corporations to say, this is the narrative. Here's what you're going to push. Masks are good, 6 feet apart. No, it didn't come from a lab. It wasn't anything that, so they're pushing all this stuff over here. Well, then they push the whole stay home, stay safe. You can't do anything. Okay, well then everybody's going, I mean, a huge portion of people on, Facebook and Twitter, back then it was Twitter, all that stuff. They're like, no, like ivermectin worked and all that. Like all this, no, we don't need to be locked in. We don't need this. Guess what? Dig into that. They funded the pushing of the narrative that ivermectin is horse paste,
Horse dewormer.
which it is, but
Yep.
there's
It
human
can
sides,
be used for that, yeah.
human sides as well. So they push all that. If you look into this, the entire COVID narrative was paid for by your money, and you gave it to them.
Mm-hmm.
Every narrative that you said, I don't quite agree with that. Okay. You didn't want to get the jab?
And some of you lost your jobs over that.
Yep. And all this, what's great is all this in like 48 hours.
Yeah.
Is coming out.
Yeah.
And it's like, wait a second, you taxed me so that you could run a psyop on me.
Yep.
And you know what? There's a whole lot of people that are completely done with that idea of the way that the government's going to work. And there's even more people this time around that want to see orange jumpsuits and frog marches. And we better see it, because this is an absolute betrayal of the American people.
Sometimes I agree with that. And sometimes I pretend when I'm by myself. I think a lot, and I
You pretend that you're thinking?
I pretend that I'm thinking,
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay.
Look important. I look in the mirror while I do it. Like, look how important and smart I look.
Yeah.
No, but I try to put myself in that mindset of like, because I see what's going on. I always see the truth, and I see what's going on. I pay attention to it, and I'm like, this is a crock of shit. But let me try to project myself into the mind of somebody that's in control, that's running this shit. How would you do it, right? And we've talked about put a TV in everybody's house, make them all addicted to it, feed them bullshit nonstop. They'll start believing it. It's brainwashing. And I think, okay, so how would I do this if I was in control and I wanted to control a population? Yeah, you know what? We're going to make them believe this. Well, how are we going to do that? We're going to make them pay for it.
Yeah.
We're going to put a TV in their house. We're going to sit them in front of it. We're going to feed them a bunch of bullshit. We're going to tell them, don't go outside. Don't do nothing. Be scared. Don't take care of your body. Definitely don't take ivermectin. Put a mask on, which limits your oxygen intake. That's going to keep you safe. And here's a bunch of bullshit for you to believe. And meanwhile, we're going to take your money and we're going to keep funding it and funding the bullshit that we're driving down your throat. No. We're not going to pay for it.
Yeah.
They're going to pay for it.
Yeah. And we're like you said at the beginning of that, we're going to tell you that it's not safe to go outside. You can't go in. No stores are open. Everybody's got to be closed. And now what do you have to do? Oh, you get to sit down on with the TV that we're paying for them. You get to sit down on these social media networks that, hey, we don't need to pay the social media companies, but they were running payments out on all the fact checkers. They were getting paid by our tax money.
Yes, I know.
To tell us that.
I know. Zuckerberg came out and said it. The frigging government was in control of what they were able to show and censoring and everything like that.
Yeah.
The government was in social media during that time.
Yeah.
You were told to stay home, look at your phone or look at your TV,
Yeah.
and then they got a hold of the people that are running social media and said, you can show this, you can't show this. You can show this, you can't show this. They were pushing a fucking narrative, and you were paying for it.
This is Orwell's 1984.
Yes.
This is it.
Yeah.
Get everybody in front of the telescreen. Like, you will have your indoctrination. Turns out we were always at war with East Asia. Like, it's just a giant psyop, and you pay for it.
Mhm.
Like, this isn't a company somewhere. This isn't, McKinney or McKinstry or whatever their name is, a study group. Like, this isn't them like, hey, let's study some. No, you're paying for it. Your tax money is funding psyops against you.
So if you and I are friends, right, Ryan? We got a pretty good relationship.
Yep.
I mean, you call me, I call you.
Right.
Whatever it is, we're doing it.
Yeah.
Hey man, I need a hand, right?
Let's
so
go.
if I called you and I was like, hey man, I need 30 grand. I got to borrow 30 grand. You got 30 grand? And
Sure.
let's say you got 30 grand that you can spare.
Yep.
Okay. Do you expect that back?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Hey,
It's not a gift, it's a loan.
Right.
Yeah.
I need some help. I'm
Yeah.
in a financial bind right now. You got 30K I could borrow off you.
Sure.
Yep. Okay. I'm going to give that back to you. Why are we sending billions of dollars to other countries and not getting anything in return? And you and I are paying for it, and every one of you is paying for it. Does that make any fucking sense?
No, and I got one for you. You have a little green can over there. I got a great one for you that came out yesterday. I didn't find I don't know if there's a sound clip on it or not, but I don't have it here. I'll just explain it though. So good old grifter in chief Zelensky over in Ukraine. Trump said something about getting some rare earth minerals and all that stuff
I
from
saw that,
Ukraine.
yeah.
All that. Did you hear what he said?
No.
So Zelensky says, "Yeah, it's great that President Trump wants to talk about that, and we would be happy to, trade some rare earth minerals and all that stuff for some more munitions and more military stuff." And they came out like, "No, dude, we already gave you that. Like,
Mhm.
we're not negotiating it. Like, we're coming to get what we need
Mhm.
out of your country.
Mhm.
Like, this isn't like, oh, you got a gift and now we're gonna trade. Like, no,
You owe us.
You owe us. Like, you owe us. I mean, everything really, but yeah, no, he came. That's what he came back on, was like from a position of negotiating. And
Yeah.
Trump's like, yeah, no, I'm sorry. There must have been a little language barrier there, a little misinterpretation. We're not giving you any more stuff in trade for things. We're coming to take what
Yeah.
we need from
Yeah.
you. You've taken from our country, and now it's time we come take for your country.
Well, that's how it should be, man.
Yeah.
And same thing. Like, okay, let's say I borrow the 30 grand off you, and I'm like, hey, man, I can't pay you back. But you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make it right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna either give you a bunch of work that I've sold, or
Yeah.
I'm gonna come help you for
Right.
a fucking month
Yeah.
and not charge you
Something.
$1. I'm gonna come help you knock some jobs out. Like
Right.
there's no gift. It's not. There's a consequence to everything, and everything costs money, and how that money is made is through people's fucking hard labor, and also trades and stocks and all this other shit, right? But what I'm saying is, it takes time and effort, and you don't just give that away just because so that you can get a kickback. It's fucking bullshit.
Yeah, I mean that's really what it's about. Is all these people like they get the glad handing and the pats on the backs to make themselves feel good, and they've got to do that for so long, and they are freaking out because the American people get to see it now.
Yeah.
And now it's not just, oh, I got elected, my people love me, and oh, hey, by the way, you over here in Kazakhstan, I'm gonna need $1 million of that back, because really you're in Kazakhstan, so $12 million is like 1.2 billion over here.
Yeah.
So just you take the 200,000, and I'll take the $1 million,
Yeah.
and we'll slush that through and call it good.
Yeah.
And now we see that's where our taxpayer dollars are going.
Well, I saw some. I don't know the names of all the politicians. Like I said, I stopped paying attention to it a long time ago because I tried to take on the government by myself. And anyway, so I saw one of them up there going, it should not be public information what the government spends the money on. Fuck you. Yes, it should.
It should be way more open than it is.
Way more open than it is.
When you
trade your time for that money that the government takes a piece of, you as an American should know exactly what your money's being spent on.
Right.
And if it's going to good things, great. That's why we elect politicians, to represent us, because we can't fit all of us in the frigging in Congress, and we can't do that.
We can't have a national vote on every single issue.
Exactly. So we have one person, our elected official, that represents us. We should know what that elected official is doing.
Mm-hmm.
That's their job, is to represent us, take our money, put it into things that it needs to go into. Roads, safety, border security, infrastructure, yada, yada. And if we don't know about it and they're getting rich and they're sending money overseas to fucking tourism in Lebanon and DEI musicals in Ireland, what the fuck, Ryan?
I'm not an elected official. I don't know either. And it's just, I look at all this stuff and watch it come out, and it's not even the fact of it's not even the thought of if I was in that position, the thought of, shoot, what if I get caught? That doesn't even enter my mind. It's like, this is wrong. Why?
It's wrong.
No,
it's wrong.
You really?
Yeah.
You are actually stealing money from the American taxpayer.
Mm-hmm.
And it's anyway. Do you want to talk about another way people are stealing money from American taxpayer?
Let's hear it.
So, once again, the whole COVID thing, which the federal government funded happily, and with our money, and told everybody, oh, it's not safe to be at work, right? So all these federal employees, they get their union, and they're like, oh, well, we still got to get paid, so we're going to do remote work, right?
Right.
Yeah, because remote work is going to be a whole lot. So at this point, like Trump had just said, there's only 6% of the workforce at actually showing up to work.
Right.
Until today. And those people, so you work that down again. Okay, well, this was funded. We're going to allow you to work remote. And we're going to push the narrative that that's okay. And we're going to help you because it's federal government. It's all incestuous. Well, all these people that lived in California, housing prices started going up. And they're like, ooh, I've got this place that's, call it it's worth, 1.5 mil down in California. You go, okay, well, if I can sell this for 1.5 mil, and whatever the note is, okay, say you walk away, say you still owed 500,000 on it. Okay, so you walk away with $1 million. Where did all those people migrate and go to during COVID? Texas and Idaho. They went in, started ramping up paying cash for houses, shot the housing market through the roof, right? I mean, people that are born in Hayden, Idaho, probably cannot really afford a house in Hayden, Idaho anymore. Okay. Sorry. So they go do all that. Well, now they're screaming because they have to actually go back to work. It's already been found that there's a whole bunch of them making thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars on top of their federal salary, on top of all the benefits and all that for their family, that they're all these TikTok stars. So why do you think everybody was like, well, what about TikTok? What about TikTok? There's a bunch of people using pseudonyms on TikTok and Instagram, making money, creating videos, not doing their job, and they're freaking out. And how the tip of it came out. One lady says, well, if I have to go back to the office, how am I going to take care of my ailing mother? She's on federal salary, and she's getting a stipend to be down helping her mother, not doing her job. And, oh my gosh, I have to go back to work? No, you know what? You shouldn't just have to go back to work. You can pay back 4 years of everything that was given to you by our money for you to do nothing. And it's the same thing with all these, quote unquote influencers, all that stuff. Those people that have federal jobs that have run up pseudonyms, and I know that people will find them, that are all these, big money accounts on, posting on X, posting on Instagram, posting on TikTok. And it goes right back to what you said. Trump's signing it. We're going to open Anwar. What about TikTok? What about TikTok?
That makes
because
sense.
Their people want to know what's going to happen and how they're going to do it. And then he signs the one that says, no, y'all are coming back to work. And they freaked out because they are making money on top of money and holding benefits for their family. So they get all, health, dental, all that. So you have all those benefits sitting there for your family. And then you're doing these couples videos on TikTok and raking in advertising dollars and everything. That stuff is done.
Welcome back to the middle class, motherfucker.
Yeah.
oh, your mother's sick.
After you
get back to work.
Yeah. After you get out of jail for a couple of years. Because we'll see how that, all those people that, that's what I really want to figure. All these people that are in those agencies that have the Ukraine flag and the Palestinian flag and all that stuff on their bios and everything else. And like, oh, nobody's illegal. Nobody's illegal. Cool. You know what? Since you broke the law, we're going to put you in prison with some of those not illegal people. Yeah. And we'll see how that fares for you.
Yeah, no shit.
You go live that life for a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, dude, I wanted it so bad in 2016, but I kind of let it slide and everything. After what they pulled on Trump, what they pulled on his cabinet, everybody there, I want to see orange jumpsuits and I mean full-blown shackled to the point that somebody's getting frog marched.
Dude, it should be. A statement needs to be made, because it's just like, not like, you watch these congressional meetings and they all up there and they're all talking a big game and you did this and you did that. And it's all just bullshit. There's never any consequences, right? There needs to start being some consequences.
Yeah.
I like what you said, polycarbonate door prison.
Yep.
Right. With public walkways and all these elected officials that have been stealing from us, basically fucking committing acts of treason. Are put in orange jumpsuits, put Pelosi in there, put Chuck Schumer in there, put them all in there. And then the public can go walk through and look at them.
Be like
These
a zoo.
are the people that have been bending you over and stealing from you and lying to you and gaslighting you. Look at them. See that right there?
Yeah.
That's wrong. You don't do that.
And then they can't hear you. You can't hear them. And the absolute shame of sitting in there, watching people walk through the little zoo of all of them in there, pointing, looking at your kid and being like, no. That's a bad person.
Yeah.
And they don't get to respond. They can't hear what you're saying. You want to talk about absolutely shameful is that right there. When you know somebody is just talking about you and you go, and you're like, oh, look, he's moving like a monkey. That's kind of cool. Maybe it's feeding time. That'll be neat. Oh, yeah. Oh, feeding time? Yeah. We can feed them rolls. Go put a couple quarters up there, and it's like American Gladiator, like Nate said. You can shoot their dinner rolls at them. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, that's kind of mean. But I still go for the polycarbonate walls, and in a very nice, accessible place.
Donald Trump is not your enemy.
No.
Donald Trump is not doing anything wrong. Elon Musk isn't doing anything wrong. They're exposing the fuckery within the United States government. And you should be happy about that. You should not be upset about that.
Yeah.
If you trust the government, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Turn that TV off. Go play outside.
Listen to us.
Listen to us. Yeah, we'll tell you. Don't fucking listen to us. You should listen. Just don't believe us. Right. No, you should. We know everything. Don't believe me? Just ask me. I'll tell you.
The views expressed by the host on this show are not necessarily the views of the host on this show.
I think that, so what I'm seeing a lot of is like, if I go on Instagram Reels or something, I'm taking a dump, going through this stuff.
Yeah.
I see the left freaking out.
I mean, you don't want to take a 90s poop. You got to scroll while you're pooping.
Yeah, that's right. But it's people freaking out over a little clip that's been edited, and it's like, I sit there and I'll watch an hour-long speech of Donald Trump because I want to know what he's saying.
Yeah.
And they're like, I saw him with the 60 Minutes lady there. I don't know what the hell her name is, but she's grilling him, and he's like, look, did you I want this to be a fair interview. Did you ask Biden any tough questions? Mm-hmm. Well, I'm going to ask you tough questions. He's like, well, did you ask Biden any, or did you just throw him softball after softball like I saw? So why is it me, you're going to come at me like this, but Biden, you give him a pass because you're bought and fucking paid for?
Yep.
And he's like, I think this interview's done. And he walks away. But then you see all the left. Well, he can't handle challenging questions. And I was at the gym the other day, and while I was on the treadmill, I watched an hour-long speech. It wasn't a speech the whole time, but he gives a speech in front of a bunch of world leaders and big CEOs of Bank of America, Santander Bank, all these other things, and then he allows questioning. So he says, this is what I'm going to do. This is our goal. Okay, open for questions. And these bigwigs come out and they start asking him, hey, how you said you're going to do this? How do you plan on going about that, and what's it going to affect? And he breaks it down into detail. This is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to do. This is what we need you to do, and these are going to be the results. He can handle any hard question you give him because the man has a fucking plan. But instead of people watching and basing their own opinion off of what he said, they grab little edited clips that have been fucking manipulated to gaslight you into believing some false fucking narrative. And then they just run with it. It's like, dude, watch, listen, and form your own opinion. Biden never got up and gave a fucking speech. I never saw an hour-long speech from Biden on how he was going to fix things.
He can't stay awake for an hour
No
at a
shit.
time. Oh, I mean, you're talking about the gaslighting and everything. There's a couple of, go back to what you were saying, where they're like, hands off our tax, like, because they've been told by their overlords that, oh my God, Elon Musk is bad and he hasn't been elected. Okay, well, have either of the Soros guys been elected? No, they've had all kinds of influence.
Bill Gates.
Bill Gates, yeah, no, none of them. So
Fauci,
let's go ahead and just throw that out. Just the fact that they haven't been elected. You get these people like, they're going into the treasury and they're hands off our tax, hands off our money, get out of our government, blah 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 blah. You know, that's because somebody above is just feeding them these, and they're just eating it up. You want to know what's something that's absolutely despicable up here in Alaska? That same thing's going on. These native community leaders telling their people that they're going to get deported, so they better go get their tribal cards and all that. Have you heard that?
No, what?
Oh, dude, there are people that I know them personally, and I swear I will 100% confront them on the street when I see them, because these people that are community leaders in native corporations and tribal stuff and all that stuff here, they are making Facebook and X posts and all that stuff saying, hey, if you're a member of the tribe, make sure and go get your tribal card, your identification card, because ICE is coming up here and there's a good chance you get deported because, you know, and it's all based on this, on the birthright citizenship stuff. They are telling their people and freaking them out that somehow, some way, they're going to be mistaken for Mexicans or Venezuelans and that they're going to get deported. And this is what their leaders are doing in the native communities. And I'll tell you what, it is disgusting in the fact that they're trying to keep everybody in line and herd it up. It's like the herd mentality of that is so stupid. And I've seen it so much up here that I'm like, you have got to be kidding me. Yeah. Like, what? What are you doing? I mean, you're looked to, I mean, in that culture, you're being an elder, being all that, and you're using that position to attempt to freak everybody out. To what end? I mean, that's the big thing, is look into it. What's the end game for those people? More money, more power, all that. Every time, every single time, that is what it is. And now you've got record numbers, quote unquote, of people showing up in Juneau to get their tribal card. I don't want to get deported. Like, do you have a driver's license?
Dude, look,
come on.
It's not hard to tell the difference in a Mexican and a native.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
I'm not going to say anything racist.
Yeah,
I'll behave.
It's just, but to see their community leaders doing that, like, everybody, oh, quick, hurry, fast, there's a chance you get deported.
No,
it's like, no, you're not.
No, you're not.
Not even a little bit. Not even maybe. I mean,
no, you're not.
How are you going to get deported when our lone representative just put 3 bills in Congress to give more free land away to the natives in Southeast? Yeah, because that means, because our representative is attempting to give away hundreds of thousands of acres of land to lock it off to everybody again, as they've done all the time up here, and it never ends. It just happens in perpetuity. But for some reason, he's going to say, oh yeah, we're going to give all this land and let it be locked up in native corporations. And oh, by the way, then we're going to deport you. Come on, guys, figure it out.
Yeah.
It's not that hard to figure out.
Yep. There's some garbage for you, Ryan.
There's some garbage. Garbage.
You got anything else on that?
No, I think I'm right up here to like 75% on the anger of my tax money being wasted.
Okay.
And I'm gonna kind of live there. I'll keep the blood simmering, not necessarily boiling. We'll kind of keep her there at an even simmer
Okay.
and see what happens. See if some of these elected politicians decide to turn on their own. And I was talking to Evan earlier. He's like, dude, I would love to see the sergeant at arms walk into the Senate and just start handcuffing people.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
that would be amazing.
Like, no, we're not sitting down for an interview. You are under arrest. This is what you're charged with.
Mm-hmm.
Go up there.
Yep.
You two, right here. Turn around. Let's go.
Yep.
No, we don't. No diplomatic thing of like, oh, why don't you come with me? No. Forcefully removing those people would send a great message.
Yeah, and I think it needs to happen, man.
Yeah.
And I hope we see it. I don't know if we will. I don't have a lot of faith in it, but I hope some people go to jail over it. They need to.
I don't know. I mean, they drug, like, they actually physically removed the lady at I think it was the FDA. She's like, well, he didn't go through the right channel. It's like, no, you're part of the executive branch. Like, you serve at the pleasure of the president.
Mm-hmm.
So he didn't go through. I'm staying here. They had the U.S. Marshals like, yeah. So you're done with that, and goodbye. Same thing with the Coast Guard commandant that he fired.
Yeah.
They were like, hey, you need to vacate housing because you're on Coast Guard base housing. On the dime of the government, you're fired. And she decided that Linda Fagan was like, no. And then they came down and they're like, you have 3 hours or you will be forcefully removed.
Mm-hmm.
And then that, once again, that's the clipped up thing, because that's the only thing that hits. How can they do this to a woman? How can they? Oh my God. And it's like, no, she was told you're fired. Vacate. Goodbye. Even if you're fired at that point, you still get your move paid for. It's not like you have to pack it up. Call the moving company, have them start packing stuff up. And now it's like, oh, poor Linda. I mean, it's just weird that she got fired and then didn't vacate government housing and then also tried to not do it again. And then they said that they were going to, like, yeah, we'll forcefully remove you. I mean, you don't get to just hang out.
This is what I think, Ryan. Sorry, I interrupted
you.
No,
you're good.
I think get the fuck out.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
Yeah.
Pack your shit, get the fuck out.
You're done.
Take your gay flags down, take all your bullshit, get the fuck out. We're done with this. There's two genders. If you're qualified for the job, you can have it. If you're not qualified, you don't get in. That's it. We're back to common sense and getting shit done.
Yeah.
You don't want to get shit done, you go fuck off in La La Land over there, okay?
Yeah.
We got shit to do.
Yeah, we're doing merit-based stuff, and the people with merit are going to go ahead and bring this country back to.
I'll tell you what I'm not going to do.
Normalcy.
I'm not going to hire some fucking person to come run my $200,000 machine because of the color of their skin and the lack of common sense on what fucking bathroom to use.
Yeah.
Because it's equality. I'm not going to do
equity.
that.
Yeah.
Equity. Yeah. Whatever. You know what I'm saying, though.
Yeah.
Like, there's too much on the line. Let's say I put some idiot in that machine because of the color of their skin and what bathroom they use, because I gotta have some equity. So I put somebody in that. They go out. One of two things is going to happen. They're going to destroy it, and I'm going to go under because I can't make money with that machine if it doesn't work.
Right.
Which then I can't make my payments, or they're going to kill somebody. And then whose fault is that?
Right. Not theirs, because you put them in that position.
I put them in that position. Right.
Yeah.
So
even though you may have been coerced into putting someone like that in that position.
Yeah, but nobody's held accountable. You know, that's where I'm at with it, man. It never should have happened. None of this shit should have happened.
No.
Let's get back to square one. Let's just go to work. Let's do what we need to do to get the job done, and let's progress and let's grow and let's build and let's take care of our own fucking people.
Yes, I agree.
So, your blood's boiling. You want a gun? No.
I'm just on a good simmer.
Okay.
You want to take a break before we talk about guns?
I don't really.
You
want to? You gonna pee?
Yeah, I'm getting there. I mean, do you want to just talk by yourself and I'll just leave for a second and go?
Yeah, that's fine.
I'll go ham.
I mean, you've already heard the story, right? or you want to be here for it, we can take a break. Take a break. We're going to take a break.
We're
We're going
gonna-
to take a quick break. We will be back.
And we're back.
And we're back. That's what I love about my guy friends. Dude, just being a man's awesome, right? You look at your buddy like, hey, you want to take a break? Not really. You want a break? Yeah, kind of. All right, fuck it. Let's take a break.
Yeah, let's take a break. Call it good. Come right back.
Yeah, dudes, we're pretty simple creatures. We like beer and guns and to be left the fuck alone.
Yeah. So speaking of guns, I notice you have one over there that has got a long-standing Alaska story of how it got here, left your possession, and then got back. And I think that there's going to be some people that really want to hear this one.
Old Sugar Lips. I love this story. So this is a 12 gauge. Old Sugar Lips. Keystone Arms.
Yeah, no four stock, no nothing on it.
That's why I'm not opening it, because that 4 stock actually keeps the barrel on.
Right.
So I'm not going to open it.
Oh,
It's not loaded, but there it is.
Uh-huh.
There you have it. So that was my father's first gun. And as I held it up, if you look in that stock, there's a buck hand carved in the stock. And my father carved that. I think he said he was like 10 years old when he carved it. And so I moved up here from Maine and sold everything, just said to hell with it. I went on a little psychedelic quest and realized Maine wasn't for me anymore, and I was going to sell all my shit and move to Alaska. When I told my dad I was going to do that, he said, good for you. You don't have a wife, you don't have kids, you don't have a house, you're a fucking couch surfing bum, get the hell out of here. So 3 days later, I had sold everything and packed my vehicle with some essentials, a bunch of lighters, some camping gear, and some firearms, and that 12 gauge was one of them. It's called Sugar Lips because it's a left-handed gun, and so if you hold it right-handed, the way the curve is, that recoil will jump up and it'll kick you in the mouth and give you that sweet little taste of blood. So I don't have a whole lot of money driving here, and I get through Canada with it. Some reason I'm not allowed to drive through Canada, but they let me in with guns. Not sure why, but I get to Tok and I run out of money, which Tok is the town right next to the border when you're driving up to Alaska, driving into Alaska. So I get there and I run out of money. And I'm like, I got a black powder 50 cal rifle and I've got a 12 gauge shotgun, Sugar Lips. And this is 10 years ago. And I'm like, I don't have anything lined up. I don't have a job. I don't have a house. I don't have anything. My goal is I'm going to live in a tent until I figure this out.
And you sure ain't hanging out in Tok, because there ain't.
And I ain't hanging
much
out
in Tok.
Nope. So I need to get down towards Anchorage where the work is and post up. But I know there's grizzlies up here. And what would I rather have against a grizzly? A 50 caliber black powder rifle or a single shot 12 gauge shotgun? I chose the 50 cal. So I run out of fuel in Tok and I go into a pawn shop and I sold that gun for $50. And that got me to Palmer. And then I was trying to pawn a chainsaw at the gas station, trying to sell it. Cops came up, thought I was a meth head. And I'm like, no, look at me. I'm not a meth head. Like, okay. And I tell them the story anyway. So at the gas station, I then just decided to take my bank card and just put it in the pump and see. And I had overdraft protection and I never needed to sell that gun. And that sucked. And that gun kicked my ass for years. I called the pawn shop like a week after I got here and I'm like, hey, can I buy that gun back? And they're like, oh, it's already sold. And I'm like, okay, well, who bought it? I'd like to get a hold of them. They're like, we can't tell you that information. So years and years and years go by. And I think it was last year, now that social media has gotten a lot bigger in the last 10 years, I went on the Tok, found the Tok classified page, and I said, hey, just throwing this out there. There's a 12 gauge shotgun with a buck carved in the stock. It was a family heirloom. I had to sell it when I got here. I've been kicking myself in the ass. 15 minutes later, this guy sends me a picture of it. And he goes, "Is that the gun?" And I said, "Yes, it is." He goes, "You give me what I paid for it, you can have it back." I go, "What'd you pay for it?" He goes, $250. I go, "I will see you tomorrow." So and my dad was like, he was upset that I sold it when I told him, but he didn't like fault me for it. The big thing in our family is you don't sell a gun. You don't pawn a gun. You do not get rid of a gun. Guns are they're a tool that will feed you, protect you, and they're family heirlooms. Like those get passed down through the generations. It's not something, if you need money, go find money. Don't fucking sell a gun.
Right.
So when I told him I got it back, he was just almost in tears, like, "Oh, I cannot believe that." So pretty cool story about
for all the
Sugar Lips.
bad things about social media. It's things like that are like,
Yeah.
you would have never been able. I mean, you could go spend weeks over there. You could go live over there, and meet everyone in town, and maybe still never find it because you could be sitting next to oh God, what's his name? I can't remember his name, Jim or whatever. The Bear's Den has the bar there.
Yeah.
You could be sitting next to the guy that had that gun one time, and it just never came into conversation. And the guy that owns the gun is right there. But having social media around here is like, and I know it's used heavily everywhere, but Alaska is like, man, I'll tell you what, I go back down, where I was born and raised down in Oregon, and there's community pages and all that, but like up here, I mean, it's everything. Yeah. You buy and sell, and I mean that's just how you do it.
I hate social media, but
it's good for advertising.
Good for advertising. Good for finding a lost gun, and that gun's nothing special, man. It is to me, but it's not a collector's item. It's a, quite frankly, it's a piece of shit that's been thrown around in a truck. And hell, I've shot more coyotes with that thing sitting in my buddy's field, drunk at 1 a.m. with a spotlight back in Maine. You know what I mean? But there's memories. Right? It's a family heirloom. So I was super happy to have it back. Another story. I got this custom 338 Win Mag, and this is a great Alaska round. I'll show you the Hornady rounds I got for it right there. And bolts open. You ever seen this gun?
No, I heard the story on how you got it, and it's pretty sweet.
Check it out if you'd like, or don't. Whatever.
Oh yeah.
So this one, I had a what the hell was it? I think it was a Mossberg 338. First rifle I ever bought by myself when I first moved here, because I figured I needed something a little more than a 50 cal black powder rifle. So I bought.
I mean, 50 cal black powder. Yeah. I mean, I was gonna say, if you need more than a 50 cal, I mean, you think about a 50 cal handgun like a Smith & Wesson 500.
Yeah.
I mean, that's for when there's an intruder in the house, behind the refrigerator, at your neighbor's place.
Yeah.
Like you don't need more than
big round.
Yeah, it's a big round.
So I bought this Mossberg 338, had a nice Redfield scope on it. I paid $500 for it. I think the scope alone was worth $500. Real nice scope. Mossberg's not really a super nice gun, but got the job done. Good Alaskan round for moose, bear, whatever you have it. So I have a customer up in Talkeetna that I do a lot of work for, and this guy has been so good. But both of them, the man and woman, they always pay up front, and I'm talking some really big jobs, 6 figures, and they're paying up front. And he tipped me with a V plow, like on a job I did. He just bought a V plow for me and was like, "That's your tip. You did an amazing job." Like, just super good people. And I'm thinking, what can I get this guy that he can't buy? He was mentioning wanting a bear gun. You know what? This Mossberg has some sentimental value to me. I'm going to give this to him. And he'll appreciate that. That'll be more than anything I can go spend money on in a store and give him, right?
Oh yeah.
Like that heartfelt connection of, here, man, I appreciate you. Take my first firearm that I bought.
Well, that's with those two people up there who I've worked for and met and everything as well. That's definitely their lines of like, oh, like they're tipping you a V plow on your truck.
Yeah.
They can go buy whatever they want to buy.
Yeah.
But something that's got some meaning to it.
Yeah.
That's, I'm sure for him, that was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. He about cried when I gave it to him. And like
Yeah.
that gun was nothing special, but it was special to me. There's some sentimental value to it. And
Right.
so I'm like, you know what? That'll give me a reason to go buy an actual nicer wooden stock 338 Win Mag. So after I give it to this guy, like 2 or 3 weeks goes by. It's winter time, and I get a call way down Kinnick River Road, which is out near Kinnick Glacier, out where Butcher Baker used to murder all those hookers back in the 80s.
Yeah.
So I get a call, hey, we're snowed in. Can you bring your snowblower out and come do the job? And I go, yeah. So I go, and it's like a mile-long road. So I snowblow this road. I get to the end, and the guy goes, what do I owe you? I said, you're looking about $500. So the guy hands me $500 cash. I stick it in my pocket, and he goes, you know anyone looking for a firearm? He goes, I'm old. I got cancer. I can't hunt anymore. I was a sheep hunter. I go, what is it? And he goes, 338 Win Mag. And I just started chuckling. I go, yeah, I know a guy looking for one of those. So I go, what do you want for it? He goes, I'd take $1,000 for it. And I go, I don't have $1,000. He's like, what do you got? I pulled that 500 out. He just handed it to me. I go, I got $500 on me. He's like, sold. I'm like, you're kidding me. So then he gives me the situation on it. A Vietnam veteran that ran a shooting class, custom built that. That whole gun's custom with a, what is that? I think it's got a Mauser action on it. Really nice gun. So I'm like, hang on, I might have a couple $100 in the truck. Let me drive the skid steer a mile back to the truck and see if I got any more money, because he starts telling me what it's worth. I'm like, I don't want to strong arm you. Let me see if I got any more cash. So I found another $200 in the truck, came back and gave it to him, and bring it out to my property and stick it in the cabin with my dad. And then him and I go riding one night, drinking some beers, riding the side by side. We get back, it's like 11:30, and I'm like, I'm half in the wrapper. I'm feeling pretty good. Like 100 yards away, Dad's like, look, a gray fox. I go, I think that's a fucking coyote, dude. That's a coyote. I'm like, where's the gun? He's like, grab that 338. I'm like, where's the bullets? He goes, it's loaded. First time I've ever shot this gun. Never test fired, never nothing. Fucking half in the wrapper. I pull up and put it on its head and just about cut its head clean off.
So it's on.
That thing is dead fucking nuts, dude. So I'm like, I missed. And Dad's like, no, you didn't miss, dude. You knocked him down over the bank. And I walk up, and I just missed his spinal cord by like that much.
The shock probably took care of that, though.
Yeah. Blew his throat out. I almost cut his head off. So then few months goes by, and I go bear hunting, grizzly hunting up in Glacier View. And I bring that 338 Win Mag with me, and still only fired one bullet out of this gun and took a coyote's head off. So 1 shot, 1 kill. We go out grizzly hunting on a bait, and about 1 a.m, my buddy goes, hey, we got action. He's like, how comfortable are you shooting? I go, I'll shoot this thing at 150 yards. He's like, how about 30? I'm like, oh, fuck yeah, 30. Let's go.
All right, game on.
So we get down, and we're creeping through the brush on this grizzly at 1 a.m. And so just so you guys know, in Alaska, in hunting season, we have daylight 24/7. There's no spotlighting grizzly. It's all completely legal. We have daylight.
Well, the only law up here is you can't use artificial light. So even if the moon's out, whatever, there's lots of people that shoot moose, caribou, all that stuff under moonlight, because it'll light your scope up enough that if you've got good glass on there, you can see through your glass, no problem.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
About up here.
Yeah.
With
so
moonlight.
you can use moonlight. I mean, anything. It's just as long as there is no artificial light forward projected out toward a critter, or no night vision.
Good to know.
But yeah, you can under moonlight. Yeah, it's 24 hours of hunting if you can see them.
Yep. Perfect. So creep up to this thing, and I pull up, and this thing's kind of like quartered towards me, kind of facing this way, and he's standing up, and I pull right on his shoulder. I'm like, yeah, first time grizzly hunting, man, and being that close to a fucking grizzly is pretty sketchy, right? Like, this thing will kill you.
I know from firsthand experience.
I pull up, and I let one fly, and he friggin' spins around, and I rack another round and I start charging up. My buddy's like, "Hey, buddy, we're not slow down there, big fella. We're not hunting whitetail. That thing's probably pretty upset right now. And if you walk up on him, he's gonna fuck you up."
He's probably just about like Elizabeth Warren and Chuck Schumer right now. He's a little mad.
This motherfucker's gonna gaslight you. You walk up right. She was like, "We're gonna give him like an hour. Let's have a little celebratory beer." I go, "Did I hit him? I don't think I hit him." He's like, "Oh no, you hit him."
Yeah.
And so we go back and I go, "I'm going to get the side by side. We can drive right up that thing, right up to it." He's like, "Really?" I go, "Yeah." He's like, "We're not packing it?" I go, "Fuck no, dude. I'll drive the side by side right up to it. We'll do it the white way."
Yeah.
So, hour goes by. We walk up. That thing didn't go 20 feet. So second bullet ever shot out of that gun takes down a 6-foot grizzly. I am super happy with that thing. That's going to be one I pass down to my kids. That gun's got a lot of history already. So.
Yeah. I should have brought one out of the safe to, not that it needs to be shown. Christina's 7 short mag.
Mm-hmm.
That thing. So she bought it. She was stationed in Sitka. I was running charters out of Ketchikan. Comes in a store and she's kind of fitting around, kind of looking at a few things. There was a decent 308 that I was like, "Hey, it'd be a good rifle for you." And she picked up that Browning A-bolt, picked that thing up. And she's like, "Oh, I really like how this fits. I like how it feels and everything." I looked, I'm like, "Oh, 7 WSM. Yeah, that's an appropriate round for around here." So she buys this gun because she wants to kill a caribou. Never seen one in her life. Like, comes from, born in Wyoming. First station was Duluth, Minnesota. Goes down to California. Comes, for A school. Goes to Sitka. Never seen a caribou. She bought that gun to kill a caribou. Between me and my buddies, before she ever shot a caribou, I think there was 26 deer under that thing that she hadn't shot anything because the thing was such a tack driver. I'm like, "Oh, I'm stealing your rifle. I'm stealing your rifle. I'm stealing your rifle." And then all of a sudden, all the buddies are like, "Oh, dude, that thing's a tack driver. I'll shoot that one."
Yeah.
Okay. So they're all shooting it. She finally gets caribou. Okay, cool. So then people continue to use that for deer, especially over in Kodiak when we're up there. That's the one that Greg had when he was in the plane with Evan and wrecked. That gun's been through a plane wreck. I took it up on a caribou hunt after the plane wreck, and I didn't even think about it. I'm like, it was after I shot a caribou and like dead on where it needed to be. It's like, this thing's been through a plane crash and it never lost 0. Like,
awesome.
It's on. That's got to be one of the biggest heat seeker guns. Like, you just pointed it, and it's like, point it over there.
So do you prefer a bolt action?
For hunting?
Yeah. Me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
Bolt, a good lever action is fine too, but some of the BARs, like the Browning automatics and everything, they're just so heavy and clunky to me, and I don't. If there was a situation where you had to clear a jam or something, I would rather do it in a bolt action rifle.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I mean, you've shot a dangerous animal. I stupidly shot one with no gun around anywhere, and that was not the brightest of moments.
That bear you were telling me about with the bow?
Yeah. The thing that I was like, I have no intention of killing a bear in Kodiak because they stink and you can't eat them. And you have to deal.
And how big are they down there?
So that one was 9.6 squared, and that's not even a big one. And with archery equipment, it went number 13 all-time archery.
Yeah.
It was just under 1,400 pounds. It was 1,386 pounds. And then I get the tooth back, and the thing was only 3 years old.
So
or 3.5 years old.
The one I shot, just for perspective here, the one I shot, completely different region. They don't eat salmon. They're living off berries.
Yeah.
They're hungry. They're angry. That's why we're in a predator control unit. These are dangerous bears. The ones that live off salmon are still dangerous, but they're a little better well-fed. They're not hangry. So the one I shot was 6 foot, 300 pounds. That's a really small bear. I thought I shot a cub.
Oh,
literally, like in the scope, it looked huge. When I walked up on it, dude, my dick shrunk. And my buddy was like, no, that's
normal.
I'm panicking, thinking my side by side, my gun, my truck, it's all going bye-bye.
Yeah.
Fishing game's going to take this. He's like, no, dude, that's probably a 4 or 5 year old bear.
Yeah.
Take it in, taxidermist goes, yeah, that's normal for that area. That's actually a decent sized bear. I've seen them smaller out of there.
Then you go down to Kodiak, and they're the size of the vehicles on the road.
So the one I had was taxidermist said, yeah, probably 4 or 5 years old. The one you had was 3 years old.
And he was 9'6".
And 9'6".
Yeah.
And how what do you weigh?
1386.
1386. That's 1,000.
Yeah.
1,000 pounds more than mine.
Yeah.
And 86.
Yeah, they're ridiculous over there. I mean, there's a reason that, you know, once you move, a lot of times it takes a while, especially people that come from Montucky or all that, because they have grizzlies over there and everything, and they just call every bear a grizzly up here.
Yeah.
Like, why do you call them Kodiak bears? Why do you call them Peninsula bears? Why do you?
It's different.
Why is there this subset? Why is it? It's just It's like, oh well, then you have coastal brown bears in Southeast, but Kodiak gets their own name. Like, yeah, go over there and walk around in the alders for a little bit.
Uh-huh.
And it's like, oh, okay, yeah, there's Kodiak brown bears, and then there's grizzlies, and then there's the coastal brown bears in Southeast. Like, if they're on salmon, they get huge.
Yeah.
Huge. But yeah, they're just a different breed. I mean, there's lots of, you know, scientific evidence that they had, you know, interbred with polar bears and all that, and that's why, you know, especially the peninsula. I mean, you got to Iliamna, they're the same size as Kodiak. It's just they call them Kodiak brown bears if you're in the Kodiak archipelago. So, you know, Kodiak, Afognak, Raspberry Island, those, I mean, that's just kind of that's where you call it a Kodiak bear. But I mean, you go run across Shelikoff Strait over on the peninsula, and they're just as big or bigger. I mean, there's some behemoths over there.
I don't know how you guys bow hunt those things, especially without a gun. I want to get into bow hunting, right? You will never find me in the woods with just a bow. I am going to have at least a 44 mag on my chest, if not a Smith & Wesson 500, just in case. And you're crazy dumbass out there with a fucking stick.
Nah, just need sticks. That's it. Just sharp sticks.
Sharp sticks that we fling through string. Yeah,
that's right.
At a 1,300-pound, 10-foot animal.
Yeah, those things.
Nope, not for me. I'll go do it with you, but I'm gonna have some fucking black powder behind my ass too. What the hell was that?
Was that a dumpster getting picked up? Or do we
do
we need to grab guns?
The trash truck just drove by.
Trash truck, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Did you feel that tannerite the other day? There was a dude up KGB shooting tannerite in the evening. And
shooting big stuff?
Yeah, big stuff.
Like blowing up barns big?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, he put a video on one of the Facebook pages up KGB. I guess he pissed a bunch of people off, but it wasn't evening. It was afternoon. My kids were down for a nap, and over on Molchatna, which is, well, I shouldn't have even said that. Over on
whatever.
So
I don't think we're to the point yet that we need private security.
Yeah,
and also,
probably not.
Yeah.
But probably a 15-mile distance away from where this guy was shooting.
And you could feel it.
Emily was like, yo, what was that? Because it shook the house. And I'm like, it was probably an earthquake or something. I went and checked on the kids. They're both passed out. I'm like, no, they're not in there playing. Like, I don't know what the hell that was. I got on Facebook, and some guy was shooting tannerite 15 miles away.
Whacking 200-pound tannerite totes.
Yeah. Yep. Big old boy.
I've seen that with the guys that I think they did 220 pounds or something in an old barn, and it just turned it to toothpicks.
I watched
it's like that stuff is amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, what it took that pig roaster to 16 feet or so.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
So back to bolt actions. I also prefer a bolt action rifle. Feel like they shoot straight. They're reliable, easier to fix a jam, like you said. We do this helicopter hog hunt down in Texas. Two of my Marine buddies and myself go down there, do a helicopter hog hunt. We're shooting automatics out of a chopper at hogs in fields, which was fun as hell. And the next day we go on a ground hunt where we're actually going to keep the meat.
Yeah.
Helicopter hunting is more pest control for the local farmers. They hire this company to come in with choppers,
and you get some recoil therapy.
We get some recoil therapy.
Uh-huh.
The next day we're going on a ground hunt, and we go on this hunt. My buddy's like, yeah, I got 3 firearms, take your pick. He's got a 308 bolt action, He's got a 458 SOCOM AR, and he's got just a AR-15. So my Marine buddy grabs the AR-15. I go, I'll take that bolt. He's like, you take a bolt over an AR? I go, abso-fucking-lutely.
Oh, yeah.
So the guy that owns the guns grabs the 458 SOCOM. You ever seen that round? Holy shit.
Well, and the cool thing is on that one, you can dump them down because they're just such a big chunk of lead that you're not looking for 300, 400 yard shots. You can dumb them down to subsonic and run them through a suppressor, and they just thunk, 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 thunk.
These were not subsonics.
No, I bet not. No, I bet they were pig killers.
We're hunting pigs, man.
Yeah.
I'm like, you know, we're hunting pigs, right? We're not fucking elephants in Africa.
Yeah.
We're hunting pigs in Texas. Yeah, all right. Fuck those things.
Chunk of lead that big coming out.
So
Thunk.
the guide is taking us out in the side-by-side on his ranch, and I see a pack of hogs run by, and I hop right out and throw one in the pipe and aim, and there's this whole pack, and my buddy's like, shoot the fat one, he's slow. So I take the big guy in the back, he's like 200 pounds. First shot on the run, right in the friggin' heart, and the guy, he starts spinning.
Yeah.
And the guide's like, you missed him. And I'm like, yeah, I didn't fucking miss him, but rack another round, boom, shoot again, and he fucking drops. We're like 100 yards away. This thing's on the run. So get him down, take the side-by-side up, and the guide thought like I hit him in the nose or something. He's like, oh, you snouted him or something. We get up there. Both of those 308 rounds are that far apart in the heart.
Yeah.
Same thing in that bear, right in the fucking boiler room,
Yep.
dude. I love a bolt-action rifle. So then I'm like, okay, we got to pay by the pound. Everyone you kill, you got to pay by the pound to process from the ranch. Like
Right.
that's how they get you. Shoot
yeah.
as many as you want. Yeah. Well, that bill will
Well,
rack
it's
up
like
pretty fucking quick.
it's like the African trip. So I know you didn't pay for a Cape Buffalo, but there's a couple right over here, and if you want to take one, go ahead.
Yeah.
And you don't go back and look at the contract. That costs you another $10,000.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh.
It racks up quick,
Oh.
especially with your buddies, and you start getting that adrenaline going.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, there's another one. Yeah.
Yeah.
You start looking at them like they're enemies, and it's like, I got to kill every one of them. Yeah.
So
We got Charlie all over the place.
I get that he was like probably 210, 220, had some nice tusks on him. I'm like, all right, I'm done. I'll let you guys have
Yeah.
the rest. I'll just sit there and watch. And we're in the back corner of the lot, and it's a high fence hunt. I've never done one. I probably won't do one again. It was like shooting fish in a barrel.
Yeah.
I didn't feel ethically right about it. We brought home some meat. It is what it is. So we're sitting on the edge of the fence looking down this long straightaway, and here comes this whole pack running the fence, because that's what they do. There's a bunch of people out there, and the guys riding around in the side-by-side riling the packs up,
Right.
driving them, right?
Yeah.
Completely unethical. But it is what it is. So this whole pack of hogs starts running the fence line because they can't get out. So their easiest, path of least resistance up along the trail on the fence line. And we're just sitting there waiting for them. And my buddies just start opening up. We get one, runs right by us, tries to get out the fence. He's like literally from me to the door, like 10 feet away. And my buddy's sitting there with that 458 SOCOM, dude, just boom, 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 boom. Put a whole fucking thing like this, man.
We'll make sausage out of that one.
Yep. Yeah, that was a sausage one. And then, of course, they're having all the fun, and I'm like, well, fuck it, whatever.
Yeah.
So I start shooting some more.
What's another $400 in
Yeah,
processing?
whatever. Keep it going.
Yep.
I think we ended up spending like $5 or $6 grand that day between the
We
three of us.
I used to get the same thing. People get on fishing charters with me and everything, and I'm about halfway through the day, loads of silvers on the boat, and we're going bottom fishing. Oh, what is it? How much does the processing cost? And I'm like, well, if you're flying it on the plane, it's about this, but you're on a cruise ship and you can't take it with you, so it has to be FedEx overnight. It's about $8 a pound. And they're like, yeah, okay, we'll just go ahead and catch and release from here out.
Yep.
Yeah. What I thought. Everybody wants to come up and load their bag up on a fishing charter. I mean, I get it if you live here. That's go book a fishing charter, go load up a bunch for the year kind of thing, take family out, do whatever. But, some of the people come up on cruise ships are like, and don't get me wrong, I had people that could afford it, no problem. And every single year they book with me, and they'd never come do a 3-day trip because they wanted to take the whole family on a cruise and do the thing. That's fine. Yeah, it's your vacation. And they could do it, no problem. man, I had lots of people like, you get the first couple fish on there, and it's like, oh yeah, it's about $8 a pound by the time you process and ship and do all that. And they're like, all of a sudden, it's like, how many do we want to keep? Like, as 4 rods are just salmon banging on them and everything. It's like, okay, before we reel these in, how many do we want to keep?
Yep.
Yeah,
It racks up quick.
it goes fast.
When we were finally done, there's like 8 pigs on the ground. We call the guide. We're like, hey, we're done. He's like, did you get him? I'm like, oh yeah, we got him. He's like, sounded like fucking Fallujah over there. Yeah. How many did you get? All of them.
All of them. Yeah. How many got away? None.
None.
Mission complete.
Mission complete. Pack her up, boys. Let's go home.
Oh yeah. Man, weather hasn't changed much since last time we sat down behind microphones.
It's warm. I mean, it's cold. It was warm.
Yeah, it was
40.
Before I went down to Oregon.
Yeah.
I drove down to Los Anchorage to get on the plane. Midnight, 47 degrees.
Mm-hmm.
I looked up Portland's weather for the next day, high of 47.
Yep.
It's like, you gotta be kidding me. But
No. We've been dipping into the negatives this week, which is good for us for work.
Very good. As long as it doesn't snow too much, and I mean, it doesn't look like. I haven't seen anything in the forecast.
I haven't seen anything in the
I'll
forecast
take the zeros because that just locks the ground up. Makes the trees real easy to grind.
Yep. Speaking of grinding trees,
Yeah.
I got to throw a new set of teeth on that bad Jackson today.
Oh yeah. I'm tired of hammering them. We want
Tired of hammering trees. I'd rather cut them.
Want to cut them?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Well then,
I think that's all I got.
is that all you got?
All I got.
Me too. It was just kind of a day to sit down and do some things and talk some stuff and some whatnots and
Cheers, buddy.
yeah. I guess if there's any more developments, we'll get on it in the next day or two. But I mean, as fast as this stuff's coming out, there's things happening. So anyway,
God bless you all. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching, if you are watching. And remember, the government's not your friend.
that's right.